everybody. So a lot of you have noticed that I've kind of changed my layout here on the back end of Streamyard lately. And a few people who use Streamyard and who are interested in getting to start being out on doing Streamyard type things have asked me, Jenna, what have you been doing to make it do all the cool things? So let me go ahead and capture what's going on in the back end. I'm going to go ahead and actually use Canva to record what I'm doing in StreamYard if you're wondering how I'm recording my desktop and all this at the same time. So let's go ahead and look at my Saturday Sunriser sprints that I normally host on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern on behalf of the Heart Readings writing community. I need to go ahead and block those. And I'm going to make this a big old test. Enter. I can't give permission to multiple things to go ahead and use the audio at the same time and whatnot. So can't do that. This is an old version of sitting down with Soul Writer for sure. Let's get rid of that. Go to the correct branding. Wow, that looks a little bit better, don't it? So what I went ahead and did was just started out right here in StreamYard. And they have all these cool buttons down here for layouts. But as you can see, my layouts are so different from everyone else's. I have a couple of specific ones active right now. StreamYard has made it to where you can edit and add new layouts, okay? So what I went ahead and did to set up to use this during sprints only gold frame layout, to figure out where to position them, I first had to decide what I wanted to do for my layout in StreamYard. So I went ahead and I think I actually modified one I already had in there, but we're going to make a new layout for this. You can, on the bottom left-hand side here, where it looks purpley on my screen because of my branding, the add item, you need at least a camera slot to run sprints and this media slot to dynamic, or the camera slot can be a dynamic camera grid if you typically have more than yourself, but normally it's just me on the routine unless I have one of my several awesome co-admins on screen with me. So I don't use the dynamic, I use just the standard camera slot here that's just one static. So I know when I'm interacting with chat, I want my camera to be bigger than the video timer. So that's kind of what helped me to decide like which one to make bigger and when. So whenever it's me chatting with the chat, I'm the bigger box, and whenever it's the timer running during my sprints, the media box is bigger. But we're going to need two different layouts to make that happen. I also took into play that I personally didn't want to cover up a certain part of my background. The part that's the table, the books and all that, I had already made this background before I did my layout. So I came at this, I kind of put the cart before the horse and didn't intend to. So I needed to make sure that, I positioned the camera and the whatnots and the whoosits with the media slots. Yes, those are words, I promise. I taught English, I promise, are where I want them to be. And then what I went ahead and did was saved that as whatever name I wanted it to be. And then, as you can see, it popped up the new one all the way over here on the end. And then I went ahead and did the edit layout, moved them around. Okay. Moved them around. So that way we have during sprinting mode, like I had mentioned, right? This one flopped around, right? I'm going to go ahead and save. Now, StreamYard has this cool, hey, we noticed you changed this thing and you've reached the limit of 8 custom layouts warning. So I'm going to have to go into my settings, which I was going to talk about here in a minute. So serendipity, fortuitousness it is. I'll take it. Thank you. I would go ahead and, example of during sprint time. Update the layout. It should give me a new one. So I have them to where if I were to add that to stream and add a video file to stream, all I can do is toggle, right? I can bounce, I can toggle then. Now, I also cared personally to know exactly where these laid out because, yeah, otherwise, I want to make sure they look good, right? I want to make sure they look good like they do during my sprints. So to get the during sprints overlay that I made in Canva lined up where I wanted the banners to be, I started here, with my original. I then used, and on Windows, they call it the snipping tool. As a teacher, I live and die by the snipping tool more often than not because I taught virtually for 3 years. So I went ahead and made a new snip and lined it up as closely as my eyeball would let me. If it was a little off, I wasn't upset. If I'm close, I'm fine. I went ahead and did that, copied it, and guess where I took it? Good old Canva. Chose a video for the dimensions to be kind of similar to a video background. You could also do a YouTube video and it should give you similar dimensions. Control V as in Victor, whatever your paste commands are, and then right click, set images background. Now I know approximately, you see I have a little bit of that white space. I'm not too upset if it's a little off because I'm going to leave a gap to account for it, but I can approximate a little bit more closely on my screen where I want those, any kind of pretty things like this that I might have purchased from Digital Curio, or if you just want to go into the traditional elements here and search for banner, search for border, and the other popular one is frame. Okay, just to give you some different options of things to play around with and truly play around with it. Could I have gone ahead and, started with, instead of starting here, could I have started in my YouTube overlay first? Yes. It does not matter which way you decide to come at it. I came at it on the StreamYard end, wanting to make sure my elements were in place, then made my overlay. You could make your overlay and then move your elements into place within them. That's up to you because you're eventually going to have to go and do a share, download, make sure it's as a PNG, hint, hint, make sure that file type box gets changed to PNG. And then you got to make sure that transparent background button is clicked. You have to have transparent background clicked. Otherwise, it will not look like that. Without transparent background, it'll do that. It'll cover your whole screen, okay? It'll cover your whole screen. So that's the difference with this transparent background button before you click download, okay? So if I click transparent background, the actual thing I put into the background that is now detachable, hint, do not detach, it'll be there. Even if I did detach it, Okay. And all I had, delete, thank you. And all I had was just say, for example, I keyed wrong. Just my, things I want to overlay. If all I did was share, download, PNG, download, this will still have a white background. That is still a filled in background. If I do share, download, PNG, transparent background, download, it will not have a background at all. No color. It'll just mimic whatever. If I'm on Windows dark mode, so that's why it's black, okay? Hint, hint. It does matter. You can then, of course, go into StreamYard, add your overlay. You want the transparent overlay, and then you can resize. Now, I didn't use the correct size shapes for my videos, but it does give you the example of you may still have to line up your final choices a little bit, okay? Yes, I've gone in and, messed a little bit around with it a couple times. Like in the past, I've made this one a little smaller. I've decided to keep it bigger. You can still do that. That's up to you. Is it a clean process? No. It took me a solid 20 minutes and some tweaking since. So, in a sprint, in a Pomodoro sprint, yes, you could totally make one of these. But otherwise, it's totally, totally up to you how it looks in the end. You can do these layouts however you wish. And if you want more clarification on how I use the StreamYard layouts or how I use Canva in various ways, I have included links to both StreamYard and Canva's YouTube channels. Go ahead and literally what I do is just go through those channels along with DaVinci Resolve's data on how to use them to edit videos, make my swag, my marketing, my everything. So if you're wanting to learn how to do it, definitely, definitely, those are the avenues to consider. Or ask me for another walkthrough in the future. To the literally dozen plus of you who asked how I did this, thank you for the interest and for the video idea. Thank you all for everything you do to support me. And above all, please take care of yourself. I know you're worth it.